We'll start with the Telegraph. Ooh, have you posted your letters yet, Helen? Christmas cards?
I don't do Christmas cards, I have to confess.
Well, you're all right then, because there's going to be a postal strike. You'll be laughing.
But the postal strike is not actually going to be until the 20th of December, and the last posting, the 19th, sorry, the last
19th.
Posting day is the 20th. So really,
we should
we're
be
not
all right.
actually going to be. It's only for the people who are a bit last minute, like me, who might be affected. But it isn't actually all of the post offices either. It's the Crown post offices, which are the main high street branches, not the ones that, not the little ones that are inside shops. But still, it is really badly timed, isn't it?
Well, not if you're a postal worker who feels that industrial action is the only way to sort out the debate over pensions and new working practices.
That's the dilemma.
And so forth.
If you're a trade union leader, when is the time to make an impact?
Yeah.
And if you still believe that strike action, I was talking today to a very senior trade union leader, we were talking about the strike action in the 21st century as a weapon. And, there is an argument that if you want to make an impact, when better to do it than now.
Well, it's not, but that's not going to win the public support. And, that's what really they should be doing, is trying to win the support of the public. Because, as well as the post office strikes, of course, this story is also mentioning the rail strikes on Southern, which are taking place 3 days this week. And, that's hugely disrupted the Christmas people coming into town to do their Christmas shopping. Of course, everyone's blaming Southern for this. Everyone's, all the people affected by the trains are saying Southern's terrible. But actually, it's the unions. It's not Southern that have tried to have talks with the rail unions, but the rail unions have refused.
Well, that's one view of what's happened. I have to tell you, there is another view.
There is indeed another view.
That. But be that as it may, I mean, it is interesting that this is a return of what used to be called militancy, and probably should still be called militancy. It'd be interesting to see the attitude of Jeremy Corbyn in the last few days before the parliamentary recess, as whether he's going to support the postal workers, and let alone the people down in the southern region.
I mean, Helen, you touched on something important: public support, and you cannot have a industrial action in this day and age in a vacuum. If you've got the whole of the public on your side, then that's something that can be quite important. Do you think there's a difference though between support for posties and support for rail staff? Is there a sense that the posties, good, honest working men and women who keep us all in communication with each other?
I don't think at Christmas, no. If it's people that are not getting their presents delivered in time, and people that are making that trip to the post office. Because also, there's been so many post office closures lately that we get so frustrated, don't we, that most of us can't find a post office that's near to us. So if you make the journey, you go to a post office and it's closed because of strike action 2 days before Christmas.
I have a wonderful small post office run by a wonderful single woman who works and works and works, and she is a tribute to.
Is she going to go on strike?
And I have to tell you, she'll confirm this. I have sent a bit of a contrast between us. I've sent more Christmas cards this year than ever in my life, which has taken been over a few years. I didn't say writing the Christmas cards.
Well, this is it. I mean,
you've got more friends this year.
As long as I've known you, you've been Mr. Scrooge, so I'm really quite shocked. I'm only jesting.
Yes, he is.
All right,
Ish.
okay. Ish. Front page of The Guardian, David, this is a final disgrace. Actually, no, it's Brexit. What am I doing? It's not Aleppo, it's Brexit. Hammond, we need a transitional Brexit deal. He says there could be a fiscal cliff, an economic cliff, if we pull straight out of the European Union. Our businesses haven't had time to adjust and so on and so forth. He believes there's got to be a period of transition.
Well, this is, of course, a fascinating battle that's now developing within government. On the one hand, Philip Hammond backing up the Governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney, on having this transitional deal. On the other side, my namesake without the E, David, and Liam Fox, the likes of Liam Fox, who say apparently are not keen on a transitional deal. But of course, Philip Hammond appearing before the Treasury Select Committee today was saying that actually this could, 2 years, people have talked about, hey, this could take rather longer, and some of the papers are saying that he's thinking about 4 years, which would take us right up to the official date of the next general election in 2020. And there's very interesting, Mr. Hammond had a quote that his thinking is emerging amongst those people, among thoughtful politicians. Now, where that puts David Davis and Liam Fox, I'm never quite sure.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that we've got a two-tier debate here in that, you've got the debate for hard Brexit, soft Brexit, should we be in the single market, should we be in the customs union? And now we've got this other debate, which is it going to be a fast Brexit or a slow Brexit? And it's kind of this, so you've got this sort of two-way debate with overlaps on each one. And the truth is we don't know.
We just don't know.
More and more confusion.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not a betting man, but I promise you it will not be a fast Brexit.
I think there'll be a natural transitional period, whether Philip Hammond gets what he wants or not, because it will have to be the way that businesses will need a period to adapt. They'll have to have new IT systems in place. They'll need new training systems. If we do leave the customs union, we'll need barriers.
And by all accounts, the other 27 countries are quite keen on it as well, because their economy has been so bound up in elements of the British economy as well. So they're going to need time for us to sort of extricate ourselves.
You're forgetting my learned friends in all this.
Well,
my learned friends might want an immensely long Brexit.
I don't think there's any advantage in having a prolonged Brexit, because it will just lead to uncertainty.
Higher legal fees?
Even longer uncertainty, and lawyers getting a nice big fat cut. Onto the eye, Helen, super selective schools. Super selective schools.
So
what are they?
This is an exclusive, I think, by the Eye. Part of Theresa May's new grammar schools, new scheme for grammar schools that she's going to be introducing. As part of that, she has plans for these so-called super selective schools, which are for the brightest 2% of children. And this was recommended by her advisors, and it says that it will bring Britain in line with countries like the US, India, France and Russia, who all have this similar system. We don't know a lot about it. We don't know how the selection would be, whether it would be
if you get the highest amount in your 11 plus,
would it be exam-based or would it be selection-based? But I think the trouble with this, it sounds very great, let's reward the brightest children, let's give them opportunities, let's get rid of class elitism, which we've had in the education service so far, and that's what we all want to get rid of. But this is going to lead to, I think, perhaps a little bit of intellectual elitism. And the thing is, we're going to get a situation where parents become really pushy to get their children to school. It could, it will still favour the elite.
Which is what you see in certain Asian countries, kids sort of committing suicide because there's so much pressure on them.
Will somebody explain to me, how is it that my country is moving towards a more selective system again at just the time that so many of these other countries that we're meant to be aping are moving away from selection? I don't understand that. It's quite beyond me.
Well, there's an argument that comprehensive education over the last few years simply hasn't produced the kind of workforce that apparently we need to take on the likes of Germany and...
Whether that's true or not, and I wouldn't argue with it, that doesn't necessarily mean that selection is
the way forward. And in fact, the Labour Party would make it clear that they believe comprehensive education, better comprehensive education, is actually the way forward. So a long-running debate.
Opportunity to all.
Times. Parents call in lawyers over soaring care costs, David.
Well, the Times has been leading the way on this social care scandal, and I use that word deliberately, yesterday and today. I mean, a wretchedly sad story on the front page of the Times tomorrow that ageing parents are drawing up these legal documents to make clear they would rather die than allow excessive care home fees to eat into their child's inheritance. Now, whatever happened, to the 2015 Conservative Manifesto commitment to reform the care system for the over 65s and all that noise about a cap? And whatever happened to the idea of an all-party commission? This must be the longest predicted crisis of any in that I can think of, and you know, the government has a responsibility to keep people safe and sound. Defence, right? But this is part of keeping people safe and sound, in my view.
Sure. I mean, Helen, the government says, look, you know, local councils, they're going to be able to raise the precept a bit more on council tax to use towards local, towards social care. A lot of people are suggesting today that's just a sticking plaster. This is too big, too big a problem for that kind of remedy. You need
it is. You know, the
reform.
ageing population is only getting worse. And I think this is such a tragic story that parents are literally prepared to die for their children's inheritance. And I think it also taps into this the idea that now, you know, the generation of the children of these parents who are now going into care are the lost generation, that the ones that are suffered the most from rising house prices and lowered standard of living. So actually they're the ones now who need that inheritance most. And actually there is this whole generation that are relying still on their parents' inheritance.
All right. Okay, we're going to have to bring it to an end there. That went really quickly. David, Helen, it's been good to see you. Thanks for joining us to look at some of the stories behind the headlines. Stay with us here on BBC News. The front pages are online on the BBC News website. You can read a detailed review of all the papers. It's there for you 7 days a week at bbc.co.uk/papers. And you can see us there too, with each night's edition of the papers being posted on the page shortly after we've finished. So, Helen and David, thanks again, and to you for watching.